Okay, I think we are recording now. I've never asked your authorization for recording. I think always assume that everyone who joins the class knows that the class is going to be recorded by, but anyway, sorry for not informing you before, but every class is going to be recorded. Therefore, if you join a session, you're expected to be recorded, right? That's like obvious thing now, but I guess we should have started before explaining how the rules were, right? I want you to think about if I'm sharing now, I'm sharing this that says two truths and a lie very quickly because I really love the game. You tend to know people a little bit more. So are you seeing the slide that says two truths and a lie?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to ask you to think about one fact that is a lie, one fact that is not true, and let us discover it. Let us find out which is the thing that is not true about yourself. So Alejandra, Angela, Daniel, Guillermo, Javiera, Catherine, Maria Paz, and Vanessa, think about three facts about your life, and one of them should be a lie. Okay? Take 30 seconds to think, and then I'm going to ask one of you to start. Are you ready? Okay, let me ask one of you. Daniel, do you think you're done?
No, I need a little more
Okay, all
time.
right.
I was thinking about the lie.
Okay. Macarena, we are with activity two truths and a lie, and then you have to think about three facts about your life. One of them needs to be a lie, and the other two need to be true, of course, right? That's the idea. Okay, anybody ready? Carlos, we are with two truths and a lie. Okay, three facts about your life. Carlos left us, or maybe got disconnected, by the way. Okay, I'm going to start very quickly, and then I'm going to ask one of you to uh, join the game, right? So the first fact is my house is white. My house is painted color white. Okay. Um, the second thing is I to Mexico once. Okay, I have been to Mexico once. And the second thing is I have two dogs. Okay, I have two dogs. So which do you think is the lie?
maybe that your house is painted white.
Okay. That's the lie.
Maybe about your dogs. Maybe you have just only one.
The lie is the dogs. I have four, not two. All of them, female dogs.
I was
Okay,
right.
so yeah, you were right. Good, Daniel. All right, one volunteer, please.
I can do it. Let me
Excellent.
check. The first one is when I was at elementary school, I took chess class just to skip another class that I didn't like it. Another one is that I was the president of the student council when I was in the at the elementary school. And the other one is I went to a physical exercise, a physical education class. I mean, as an extra course, just to skip another class.
Hmm.
The last one for me.
I'll go with the last one because Daniel can't tell a liar. All right, so I'll go with the last one too.
No, it was the and about the president. I never went to president, but I always, when I could skip classes, I took courses outside or overall chess because it was like that or something related with art. So I prefer taking the other one.
All right, all right. Good one, Guillermo. Thank you. Taking classes to skip others. Interesting. I've never thought about that before. I wish I should have known before. Interesting strategy. Anybody else? Angela, Alejandra, Carlos, Javiera, Catherine, Macarena, Maribas, Vanessa?
Can I, Professor?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, please.
Okay. The first one, I have never broken a bone in my entire life. The second one, I'm not from Chile. And the last one, I don't have siblings.
The last one.
I'll
Trust
go
me.
the first
This
one.
time, trust me.
Maybe the first one.
Okay, I want to know what Guillermo, Javiera, and Catherine thinks about.
I think at the first one that
Okay.
the broken
I
bone.
agree with him. The first one.
Okay.
Me too.
No, Daniel said the answer.
I knew it.
I don't have siblings.
Oh, you don't have no siblings. You're an only child.
That's a lie.
Ah, okay.
Hmm?
How many siblings do you have?
Two. One sister and a brother. Well, I'm
Okay.
the yeah.
And you're the oldest?
They are the oldest.
Okay. All right. So you were the little baby at some point.
Maybe.
Okay. Good. Very well done, Angela. You tricked us. Any other volunteer? Alrighty. Then we should go to this. Do you know this fellow? We're going to be listening to to this. Let me know if you can listen to this first.
As Tom was saying, I think a lot of youngsters, they revere you.
Can you listen to this?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, okay, excellent. So the idea is that we watch this and listen to the different speakers, and specifically, we pay attention to the way they talk. I'm not referring to the accent, but I'm referring to the pauses they make, how fast they speak, stuff like that. Okay, that's the idea. Here we go. Alrighty. So that what do you think about this with this scene? This was taken from a very popular show. Have you ever watched it before? Yes.
No,
No?
this interview, but I know the show, I think.
Okay. All right. Graham, I think it's the name of the host, or the last name of the host. So and I guess that's the name of it, right? So what the point of this scene is that there was this actor that was impersonating other actors, and in order to do that, he would have to imitate not only the accent but also other features that these other actors would use whenever they were interpreting or they were playing a role. And one of the characteristics is the pauses that we make whenever we are producing speech. When we talk in general, there's an element. We can think about a paragraph, for instance. Let's take it as an example, this one. What could be better than taking one example from what we are I'm sharing with you. Maria Paz, do you mind reading this paragraph aloud, please, just for the sake of using it as a piece for analysis? Is your microphone working, Maria Paz?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. An intonation unit is a piece of utterance, a continuous stream of sounds bounded by a fairly perceptible pause. Pausing in some sense is a way of packaging the information such that the lexical items put together in an intonation unit from certain how do I say the word?
Psychological
and lexical grammatical realities.
Excellent. Very well done. So if you could pay attention to Maria Paz, she decided to make some pauses. Where did she decide to make some pauses? Are there some elements she considered to make pauses? In answering to my own question, I would say yes, because she was not reading from the beginning, from and up to realities non-stop, right? She would make pauses. So an intonation is a piece of utterance. Probably she made a pause here. There's a comma, right? A continuous stream of sounds. Probably another very small pause, bounded by a fairly perceptible pause. So here comes a longer pause. So punctuation helps us to understand where we should make pauses. What's the importance of making pauses? It's not just that the speaker needs a moment to recover or to breathe in some air so the speaker can continue reading, but also has to do with the way that the thoughts are organized. Because in the first sentence, an intonation unit, blah, 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 up to fairly perceptible pause, they are all ideas that are connected. Therefore, they are integrated into one same line. Then there's a period here, right? And then pausing in some sense is a way, blah, 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 blah. This is also connected with the previous idea. If there wasn't any connection, probably we would have continued with another paragraph, right? Another paragraph would not be connected with the previous one, not exactly connected. And here we have some examples below. Right there. So in the first one, it says, those who sowed quickly, and this vertical bar imply that there is a pause here. Those who sold quickly made a profit. And the meaning of this is that only the ones who sold quickly made a profit, right? The ones who sold slowly, the ones who sold afterwards did not make a profit. And in the second example, those who sold quickly made a profit. Those who sold quickly made a profit. Okay, so the profit in this case was made by those who sold, regardless if they sold quickly or not. Imagine Christmas time, people having, toys, right? And we have these people who have a store and they want to sell all these toys during Christmas time. Those who sold quickly, those who sold all the toys made a profit, right? Obtain, right, more money for what they sold. And those in the second example, all of them who sold quickly made a profit. The ones who didn't sell, obviously, in the second example, did not make any profit at all. So the pauses have an impact or an effect on the possible interpretation that the listeners can make. The pauses are going to be shown, in this case, by a vertical bar. And when we talk about pauses, we are we refer to tone units, or also called intonation phrases, also called speech unit, also called tone groups. Okay, when we refer to any of these names, tone unit, intonation phrase, speech unit, or tone group, we're talking about the same. Essentially, if we go back to the previous slide, an intonation unit is going to be the first one, those who sold quickly, and the second intonation phrase is going to be, or tone unit, is going to be made a profit. In the second one, those who sold is going to be the first tone unit or intonation phrase, and the second intonation phrase is going to be quickly made a profit. Okay. The intonation phrase, tone unit, speech unit, or tone group is the basic unit of intonation. All right, and we're going to define the boundary, or where one intonation unit starts and when it ends, with a vertical bar. Sometimes these vertical bars are going to place exactly where we see a punctuation mark. For example, every time you see a comma, you will find a vertical bar there. Every time you have a period, there's going to be a vertical bar defining that's the end of this intonation phrase. But sometimes it's not exactly like that, okay? Because depending on a type of speech, for example, if it's a formal speech in front of the United Nations, for example, or if is doctor who is telling you or giving you a prescription, for example, and the doctor is talking to you, the way that he or she is going to be parsing the information, chunking or segmenting the information is going to be different. And when we talk about the tone unit, in general, we're talking about a unit which is larger than a syllable, okay? It could be one word, it could be two words, a phrase, it could be a sentence, okay? So whenever we talk about units, in general, we're talking about in general, because sometimes A tone unit could be, for example, the word go. Go. Just go. Okay, go. And the word go contains, it's a one-syllable word. And it's also going to be a tone unit if that's the only thing that the speaker says. Okay. Whenever we divide the speech into segments, like for example, most tone units are a type that we call simple. Okay, most of these tone units or intonation phrase will have a tonic syllable. I mean, each of them will have one syllable which has more emphasis, which is the most prominent one. Okay, put it in another way. Let me see if I can find an example. For example, I'm going to the shops in a minute. I'm going to the shops in a minute. Which do you think is the most prominent word in this first utterance? I'm going to the shops in a minute. Which word do you think is the most prominent one?
Shops.
Shops. Okay. Alrighty. So in this intonation phrase or tone unit, whatever you want to call it, the word shops is the most prominent one, right? Now, this word happens to have only one syllable, shops. So that's the where the tonic syllable is. So this example is just to say, whenever we segment or chunk the speech into tone units or intonation phrases, for example, in the first time that Barry speaks, there are two tone units or two intonation phrases. The first one, I'm going to the shops in a minute. What do you need? Two intonation phrases, right? Each one of them has a tonic syllable. In the first one, shops is the tonic syllable. In the second one, what do we need? What do we need? What do we need? Probably the tone unit would be the
verb need.
The verb need, exactly. The verb need, that's going to be the tonic syllable. So every single tone unit or intonation phrase has one tonic syllable. Okay? So if the word instead of shops could be, for example, could have been supermarket. I'm going to the supermarket. I'm going to the supermarket. Which do you think it's the tonic syllable? Instead of shops, we're replacing the word shop for supermarket. Which is the most prominent syllable in the word supermarket? What do you think?
The first one, considering that it's a compound noun.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So I'm going to the supermarket. I'm going to the supermarket. So that is going to be the tonic syllable. Okay? We're defining the most prominent one in this word, supermarket, and it's the first syllable, right? That's very important because every tone unit has a tonic syllable. And also every tonic syllable has a tone. A rise, a fall rise, a rise fall. We're going to go over that later. But if we could read this aloud, let me get rid of this. And we're going to go back to the concept of tonality, which is what we're dealing now, right? So dividing or segmenting or chunking the speech into tone units or intonation phrases is what is called tonality. Okay. I'm going to ask two participants. One of them could be Catalina Salcedo, if you have a working microphone, and the other one maybe Carlos Badilla and Catalina Salcedo. Are you available? Are your microphones working?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Good, Catalina and Carlos. Waiting for your confirmation. Either by the chat box or let's ask Alejandra Gonzalez. Would you mind, Alejandra Gonzalez? Would you mind to participate in this reading aloud activity? I'll be waiting for your confirmation in the chat box or confirmation through your microphone. I always get the messages first through the cell phone. I'm not seeing any messages in the Okay, Carlos, thank you so much for your message. Don't worry, it's all right. Javiera Treviños, would you mind reading with Catalina Salcedo?
Yes, I have no problem.
Thank you so much.
What
Whenever you
should I
want.
read?
Okay, thank you. So Catalina and Javiera?
Yes, but what part we should read Python? Okay.
Okay, I'm going to the shops in a minute. What do you need?
We're okay for vegetables, but we should stock up on meat. Can you go to the butcher and get some veal and some beef?
No problem. We also need bread, so I'll go to the bakers. I'll get some balls of beans for Victor's birthday bash on Friday. We need balloons for that too.
Better visit the supermarket then. We'll need some other things for the party. Get some vanilla ice cream, some butter, and some vinegar and 12 bottles of beer.
Okay, the library is beside the bakers. I would better take back the videos we borrowed last week. They are overdue.
I'll see you later then.
Bye. I'll be back before 7.
Sorry, great. I mean, I'm amazed. I'm surprised that this works so well. So you were segmenting almost exactly as the original dialogue where I got this from. That is interesting. So there are some pauses that are very obvious. Now others are optional, right? For example, in this section on the right, Valerie says we'll need some other things for the party. Get some vanilla ice cream, some butter, some vinegar, and 12 bottles of beer. We are listing, or when a speaker is listing, the speaker needs to make short pauses, right? Vanilla ice cream, some butter, and some vinegar, and some 12 bottles of beer. And these slight pauses can tell the listener that every time there is a small or a slight pause, there's another element being added to the list, right? And this is the way that tonality works, right? Specifically, whenever we are dealing with tonality, which is segmenting or dividing the speech, right? Here, for example, we have first time Barry talks, we have two. The first time Valerie talks, how many intonation phrases do we have here? One, two, in this case, three. Now there is an optional pause that is not in the original, right? In the original dialect, I mean. But you could say, can you go to the butcher's? Slight pause, and get some veal and some beef. That is optional, right? That the idea is that there are also other pauses that can be made, but all depend on the speakers, right? Um, so these systems, the tonality system, the tonicity system, and the tone are all integrated. They all make what English intonation is. For example, when we talk about tonality, we talk about how to segment the information. When we talk about tonicity, we talk about which element in this intonation phrases or tone units is stressed or emphasized. And when we're dealing with tone, that's the rising of intonation on a specific element that communicates or tells the listener, for example, if it's a question, if it's a statement, if the speaker is using irony, or if the speaker is unsure about a specific statement, right? So it's not the same if you talk in the way that the politicians segment their words or utterances in a different way, as when you listen to an anchor, right, in a news TV news program, or when you hear a priest, right, delivering a sermon, or when you listen to, for example, a stand-up comedian, right? They segment in a different. Who talks faster? Who do you think talks faster and has less intonation phrases? The politician, the news anchor, the priest, or the stand-up comedian?
The news presenter.
Okay, the news presenter has less pauses, less intonation phrases.
Yeah, because it's more like delivering information than showing a point of view or something like that.
Right, right. And which one do you think has a more, or probably could have more intonation phrases or tone units when he or she is speaking?
I don't know if the politician or the comedian, because they depending the kind of people, they can both be almost at the same level. At least politicians have a wider range of movements, so they can go from not showing so much tonality to be extremely focused on that in some times of the year.
Right, right. Depending on the purpose, depending on if election is uh, coming, right? There's going to be more emphasis. For example, right here, let me see if I can find an example. Okay, this one. seeing Emma Watson. I don't know if you are seeing Emma Watson.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So I guess everyone knows Emma Watson. She's quite famous, right? Hopefully I chose the right person. I think everyone knows her. And I want you to listen, watch this video, and I want you to listen, and I want you to pay attention to the way she is chunking or segmenting her speech or what she's saying. You can even count if you want. Here we go.
I was appointed as Goodwill Ambassador for UN Women 6 months ago. And the more I've spoken about feminism, the more I have realized that fighting for women's rights has too often become synonymous with man-hating. If there is one thing I know for certain, it is that this has to stop. For the record, feminism, by definition, is the belief that men and women should have equal rights and opportunities. It is the theory of the political, economic, and social equality of the sexes. I started questioning gender-based assumptions a long time ago. When I was 8, I was confused being called
Sorry. Questions, comments in terms of tonality or in terms of the message, of course.
Uh, she delivered her speech in a very pacific way, and also she did a lot of pauses while she was talking.
Exactly, totally agree with you. Now, my question is, why do you think she made all those pauses? Do you think they have a purpose? Do you think she's required to make those pauses because of the context? What's the purpose of? Because if she had been interviewed in a different in a program in a program in which she's expected to talk about her last movie, for example, do you think she would have made all those pauses? Why? Why not?
I think that she made the pauses because she was waiting for the people analyze what she was saying, and also because she was waiting for the an emotional response from the audience. So that's why she was stopping every time in a way to connect more with the people.
Very well said. I couldn't agree more with you. So, in this specific context, the importance of the message has to be absorbed, digested by the people, and therefore the pauses, right, help the audience to understand more the message and to be able to ponder, to be able to think very deeply in the importance of the words and the message that is carried by this ambassador, right? She said she was, Darwin says, more in several cases and sentences. That's right. That's right. So in stand-up, in stand-up comedy in general, you would see people that would entertain yourself, would speak very fast, that would probably deliver a message non-stop until and they would manage the rhythm, and then they would make a pause for you to laugh, for you to realize what was said, and then the stand-up comedian would continue bombarding you with information and ideas until there's another pause, right? So the rhythm is different when you hear, when you watch, or when you listen to stand-up comedy. The rhythm is different when you hear someone like a politician, or in the case of this actress, delivering an important message in a very formal meeting. And specifically, there are other jobs in which you're expected to talk quite slow and chunk for example, you cannot expect a teacher, right, in a specific level, for example, in elementary levels, to keep on talking and talking and talking during the whole session, during the whole class, right? So depending on the job, depending on the context, depending on your personal characteristics, depending on the audience, on the people who are listening to you, you make decisions, right? And these decisions affect the way you are segmenting the information. That's in general what I wanted you to consider whenever we talk about uh, tonality, right? So the case with Jennifer Lawrence is different. I'm not going to show you this. Okay, I'm not going to show you this. What I want you to do, I want you to do a practical exercise. What I want you to do is I want you to consider watching in YouTube an interview or a political speech or a piece of news, anything. I mean, that's on the first level. I want you to listen to an interview or a or a speech given in a I don't know, specific context, or someone like an actor, actress, singer that is being interviewed, and I want you to pay attention to the way he or she speaks, focusing on the pauses that this speaker is making. Okay, if you want to go beyond that, you can listen to two recordings, one from a person in one context and the other one, right, in a completely different one. For example, a politician and someone from a program on TV, right? And compare. Maybe you can listen to only 10, 15, 20 seconds, and then you compare how many intonation phrases you can find in one and how many intonation phrases you can find in the other linguistic sample. Okay, that's sort of a practical exercise that I want you to do. This is optional, this is not homework, because it depends on you if you want to practice with this. But I think it's better to practice tonality by listening, right? And in the next level would be not only listening or to the two speakers, but also have the script for the interview. If you have the script, you listen and you divide using vertical lines the intonation phrases. That's sort of the next level. So you're going to be listening and also dividing the speech yourself. Okay, this is for you to practice tonality. Okay, so that's going to be the end for today's session. During the next sessions, we're going to be talking about tone, tonality, and tonicity. These three systems are combined and they conform what's called an intonation. Intonation is highly affected by the way that the speech is divided, by which element in this intonation unit is the most prominent one, or the one carrying the tonic syllable, and also the tone that you can find in this most prominent element. Okay, so that's the end of the session for today. Hopefully you understood what Tonality is, as I mentioned before, segmenting the speech into tone units or intonation phrases. These can be made of one element, one word, or a phrase, or a sentence, right? And it's very, very connected to the way that we organize our thoughts, the way that we want the speaker to understand the message, right? And the pauses have to or are connected with elements that we consider to be important. If we make frequent pauses, sometimes that has to do with making them on purpose, or sometimes the pauses have to or are connected with hesitation, which is part of the process of the speaker to be thinking and producing the chunks of speech. Sometimes when the speaker is not sure, or when the speaker needs some time to think, starts segmenting the information, right? That's tonality. Okay, we're going to revisit this, okay, because this is a sort of an introduction for the so-called 3 T's, right? The 3 T's that I'm typing here in the 3 T's. Sorry about the extra H. Let me edit that. So that's the session for today. The 3 T's. We started with tonality, right? Tonality. We're going to revisit tonality, and then we're going to be talking about tonicity. And we're going to end up using or talking about tone. Okay? I'm going to stop recording now.